Good evening, brothers and sisters. It's Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Looks like 15, 16, 17. It's still the top of the hour. 6:43 p.m. here in the Salt Lake Valley. Home of world famous skiing in dry, powdery snow. Oh, yeah, by the way, let me put the link to come in because we're inviting Freewillers to come in and explain how that man's will is independent of God. That's the notion of the free will community. Man's will is independent of God. Man's will is independent of God. Man's will is independent of God. Don't you know? And God can't do anything about man's will being independent of God. God would like to be able to do something, but man reigns supreme. Okay, let me breeze through some call outs here. Grace knows nothing of free will because grace depends on God, not man. All right. Let's see what else. So-called free will is the foundation of religious exclusivity. Yep, that's it, baby. And then Max says, Tim's will. Tim's got a big old will. Don't you know bigger than God is? Yeah. Grace is God acting, not God waiting. Wait. That is a good one. I'll put a star on that one, so I might bring it up later. Faith happens when God reveals, not when man decides. That's great. Faith happens when God reveals, not when man decides. This is why some believe now and others later. Not because some are better, but because God reveals in His timing. Wonder Grace, how did we find you? Paul says faith comes by revelation, not man's decision. Faith comes by revelation, not by man's decision. Galatians 1:16. When it pleased God to reveal His Son in me. Oh my God! It's almost like under grace knows the Scriptures, as opposed to the general population of free willers who stomp their foot and insist man's will is independent of God. All right, so let's do this again. Paul says faith comes by revelation, not man's decision. Galatians 1:16. When it pleased God to reveal His Son in me. When it pleased God to reveal His Son in me. Check it out. KG, Eric, praise I am. When it pleased God to reveal His Son in me. So the happy conclusion from under grace is that faith comes by revelation, not by man's decision. And here's something lovely. Faith is not a human achievement. Faith is a God-given capacity to perceive what He has already done. Faith is not a human achievement. Faith is a God-given capacity to perceive what He has already done. And here's something from Rick out of Lamentations 3. Who is this who speaks and it comes about if Yahweh does not determine it? Lord have mercy. Rick, someone might think that you know the scriptures. Who is this who speaks and it comes about if Yahweh does not determine it? Lamentations 3:37. There is not a drop of free will in that verse. That sounds like the writer of Lamentations was a hardcore determinist, as opposed to these soft determinists. You can't even get it up. And let's see, and the grace says, salvation of all is true because God is the Savior of all. Dude, that just makes sense. Sweet. And the grace says, Paul states it plainly. 1 Timothy 4:10, God is the Savior of all mankind, especially of believers. Believers are the first, not the only. And the grace says, Mr. Tim, hey, are you taking 1 Corinthians 2:8 and using it to prove free will when Paul is actually using it to destroy the idea that human will has any power at all? Yeah. Rick says, it's interesting that it says, had they known. Well, they were blind. They didn't even know their own Messiah. Yeah, so if they didn't know, they certainly did not have a fucking free will, Tim, because they were ignorant. They didn't know something, Tim. And if you're ignorant, how free is your will? Your will is operating in ignorance. And the grace says, Tim, they did not know. They did not know. Not know. They did not know because God hid it from them. This is not a free will. This is divine concealment, Jack. And the grace says, hell yeah, God will have all to be saved. And it says, so, I love this one. So shall my word be that shall go forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but rather it does what I desire and prospers in that for which I sent it. Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that shall go forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but rather it does what I desire, and it prospers in that for which I sent it. Sweet. Dude. Sweet. 100% guaranteed or your money back. And Rick says, I only have time invested and I certainly don't want it back. Imagine starting over. No, thank you. And Grace says, Ditto. 100% ditto. Thanks. 2 Timothy 1:1. Paul, an apostle of Christ Jesus, through the will of God. Oh, and Rick is being a smarty pants. Oh, you mean through the will of Paul, right? Right. You mean through the will of a Christian, right? And then Rick says, never heard of free will till I was 50 years old. And then Undergray says, Romans 1:1, Paul, slave of Christ Jesus. That's not very free will language. Language E. Paul, a slave of Christ Jesus, a called apostle, severed for the evangel of God concerning his son. No free will in Romans chapter 1, verses 1, 2, and 3. Not a drop of free will. Rick says, yeah, Ace stopped on slave with Graham the other night. Emphasized it. Even called, he says. It says, hello, Ace. Mr. Pants says, hello, Ace. I guess. Wait, I was just now over on House's channel. He has such a great voice. And here is Collision saying brothers and sisters. And Rachel. Good to hear from Ace. It says hello, Poopy and Dennis. And Sean Ego says hello. And Rick says, Sean. And we got Wingmaker Wilson here, but his devices are not connected. So I can't bring him in. Masterpiece of God says, good morning, Asa. So you must be in Europe. Germany, maybe? Greetings to our Father. Oh, there we go. Let's see what we got here. Hang on. Go ahead with your question. Wingmaker Wilson. I think I can hear you. Ace sees us. Good evening, fellow shipmates from Jody. Hard starboard, Jody. Oh, and beloved little Hillary's emails is here. Wingmaker says, Kevin wants me to answer him. I didn't see a question from Kevin. Do you guys see a question from Kevin? Stop. Oh, there he is. Hang on, let's see. I was told, Kevin says, I was told you want me to come up to prove free will to you. Is that true? Fine. Do you need a link? Let me put the link in right now. And this will be a sweet time, Kevin. We can even get your testimony. I didn't see your thing before, but now I can see it. So come on in. Again, the rainstorm we're looking at, I think it's Indonesia. Hang on, let me see. Yep, nope. It says it's from Insomnia. That's not a place. From a village. I don't see an easy thing there. Kevin!
Hello, Ace. How's it going?
Fine. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of time, but first of all, when we say free will, do you understand what we mean by that?
I have asked many free willers to explain what they mean, and I can't get a clear answer one way or the other. But I know for sure the word free will is not even in the New Testament. So I don't know what Christians mean when they say free will, except for this, Kevin.
Okay.
Except for this. The way they talk, the way a free willer talks, they mean the power of contrary choice. You ever heard that phrase, the power of contrary choice?
Yeah, or multiple choice possibilities. Yes, sir. Multiple choice options. Yes.
No,
The
listen
ability
now.
to choose between two or more possibilities.
Yeah, but that's before you make your choice. After you make your choice, then there is no other choice. So you can't have the power of contrary choice. You can choose item A or item B, but once you choose, you can't have chosen the other one because you already chose.
Well, that has nothing to do. All we're talking about is the ability to make those choices. So once you've decided what choice you want to make and you made it, you still had the option to choose differently. You just chose not to. Now, how I would demonstrate this is if you can open your Bible, look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, and I'll demonstrate it.
Okay, good. You want to pull that passage up, or do you want me to?
Oh, I can't. I'm not at home. I'm at work. I'm at lunch break.
Sure. Okay, I'll see it. Chapter 10, huh? You can go ahead and
1
start
Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13.
Okay, hang on. While I click the right buttons. We've got chapter 10, and let me highlight verse 13 for you. We'll put it in green for sustainability. Go ahead. No trial has taken you. Go ahead.
I can't see it, but off the top of my head, I think it reads something like, "There's no temptation that has overtaken you, but is common to man. But God, who is faithful, has provided a way out so that you may be able to bear it."
Right. That's King James. The one we have on the screen says, "No trial has taken you, except what is human. Now faithful is God, who will not be leaving you to be tried above what you are able, but together with the trial will be making the sequel also, so to enable you to undergo it." Pretty close. Go ahead.
So the thing is here is that if God has provided a means of escape for each instance of temptation, that shows and demonstrates that you have libertarian free will, because if God has determined every time you give into sin or temptation, this verse cannot be true, because if he has determined you give into it, there is no means of escape for that instance of temptation. Therefore, this verse proves that you have contrary choices.
Well, sir. So can we talk about the word choice just by itself?
Sure. What do you want? I got the dictionary online. Dictionary Buchanan.
Yeah. Okay, so if you go into the grocery store, into the grocery store and there's a beautiful steak right here, and over here there's a steak with maggots, and it looks disgusting. Which one is choice?
Neither. The choice is what you decide to choose, or what you decide to pick. Which one you decide to buy.
Right, and that is choice, and the other one is not choice. Because you decided
I
not to buy the other one. It's not choice.
You're playing games with words. So choice just means the ability to choose between what's going on. It means to pick, right? You could someone could have mental problems, or someone could have the intent to feed it to like an animal or something.
Yeah,
Some animals would like the meat with maggots in it.
right.
So that doesn't mean they didn't have the ability to pick to buy that piece of meat. They just chose not to.
That's
Choice
right.
demonstrates agency. We can't be human without agency.
Right.
Animals don't have agency like we do.
So according to the title of the show up right above you, it says that man's will is independent of God. Do you believe that?
Absolutely not.
No? Explain.
Because everything I do is grounded in the mind of God. So I couldn't even have the ability to make choices if God was not sustaining my being. He holds my atoms and molecules together in order for me to make my libertarian choices that He has granted me the ability to make because I'm made in His image.
So man's will is not independent of God. That sounds great because I wouldn't want to be out on my own.
Well, who believes that man's will is independent of God? That's not the Christian position.
You know, I have talked to a lot of Christians, and a lot of them act like man's will is entirely independent of God, and God cannot influence a man's will.
No, I think that's either a misunderstanding or a straw man of the Christian position of freedom of the
I
will.
mean, I've been told that God is a perfect gentleman and he would never force his will on you.
Yeah, that can be true, and God is still sustaining your will. God can be a gentleman and ground your being and your ability to do things without supernaturally imposing or infringing upon it. He's still sustaining it. He's still the ground of all being.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, Kevin, how long do I have you?
A few more minutes, and I'm going to take off.
Okay, I'm so glad you stopped by. And this is a lovely passage of scripture. 1 Corinthians, 10:13.
Now, Ace, would you concede that my argument is sound? That if God has provided a way to escape for every time you are tempted, therefore that means you can choose to take the escape of the temptation and not necessarily give into it?
Well, I know that the King James says escape, but these boys who put this version together say that escape is actually the word sequel. But if I go to the King James, if God makes the escape, you have a free will. I guess I could see how you could make that argument.
Well, no. The argument is that if God has provided a way out for every time you are tempted, that demonstrates that you don't have to give in to the temptation, right? So that flies in the face of determinism, where God determines every time you give in to temptation. If that were the case, this verse would be false.
Yeah, I can see where you could make a good case on that.
All right. Well, thank you. I hope you think about that and hopefully repent of your determinism because you actually have free will.
Thank you very much. I feel so much better. No trial is taken you except what is human. Now, faithful is God. Faithful is God. Huh. I can live with that. Faithful is God, who will not be leaving you to be tried above what you're able, but together with the trial, we'll be making the sequel also to enable you to undergo it. But this is a pretty good case that Kevin made from the King James. So if Kevin and I were to have more time and we could examine the scriptures to see whether escape is the right word or sequel is the right word, that might be helpful to both of us, you see. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up the King James and paste it under here so we can think about it. Hang on a second. Is that big enough? Hey, Rick.
Hello, Ace. How are you?
I'm happy. I'm glad you're a part of this show.
Hey, can you scroll up a little bit? Back to, yep, right there. See where it says, but together with the trial. Now, if you put escape in there, we'll be making escape also to enable you to undergo it.
Yeah.
If you escape it, how are you going to undergo it?
Good question. Okay, we got the King James here, boys and girls. Let me put the King James in green for sustainability. All right, so, but will with the temptation. So, from the language here, with the temptation, God makes the temptation and God makes the way of escape, according to the King James language, right? So, God is faithful. God is faithful, and God made the dang temptation, and God makes the escape from temptation, according to the King James, so that you may be able to bear it. But this is a good point, Mr. Rick. God makes the sequel. But if you escape the temptation, how are you bearing it? That's a very good question. Did I miss it? Rick?
Yes.
Did I capture your thought there pretty good?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Hey, you and Undergrace were having a nice time playing off of each other.
Yes, we were. We worked well together.
So let's say we only had the King James Bible, okay? Just between you and me and the gatepost. What is the most important thought revealed in this passage?
God is faithful.
Oh, me too. I'm going with that one. I'll take 500 on God is faithful, Bob. So even though the word free will doesn't show up here, I can see how Mr. Kevin can argue free will. It's just an argument. And he hopes that I repent. God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able, but will with the temptation, because God made the way of escape and God makes the temptation, because he will with the temptation make the way of escape, because God is faithful, that you may be able to bear it and not go out of your mind. So, Rick, just between you and me, the gatepost, who has come to visit this channel lately Who has gotten on your nerves the most?
I would say Jill.
Oh, well, I am so happy to announce to you that Jill will be back on Sunday, Lord willing.
That's a guarantee almost.
Uh-huh. Isn't he a funny character?
He is.
He sure wants to be right, even if he can say the wrong things and still imply or infer or even scream that he won the debate.
Yeah, if he only goes back and watches himself.
That might scare him to death.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. That's a Southern phrase, you know.
Yep. I'm
And
in
you
the
know,
South.
and you know what it means, don't you?
Not really.
Yeah, in the South, when they say, bless your little heart, it means, I think you're stupid. You have to read between the lines. It's a dry, sarcastic humor. Bless your little heart.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah. Did you see this morning's essay?
I did.
How'd you like it?
It was good. I saw it at least 2 times, 3 times.
Uh-huh. We'll read it again as soon as I enjoy my tobacco. Got to have our priorities straight, right?
There you go.
Let's see. We got a little comment here from Mac. He's basically saying to Tim, bless your little heart. Tim's free will is the best free will. I'll say. Ain't no better free will in all the universe than Tim's free will. I mean, Rick, you know, hundreds of years from now, people will be singing songs to the glory of Tim's free will. They'll be drinking full kegs of beer to honor Tim's free will. We had a fine example of free will, and Tim, well, what happened to him? Well, he's dead, but he was a perfect example of free will while he was here, yeah. But he's dead. You ever read that old poem, Ode to a Louse?
Nope.
Well, it's a poem that came out of the 1800s, cowboy days, right? You know what a louse is?
Um.
You know what headlights is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, a louse is just one. Lice is plural.
Gotcha.
Okay, a louse is just one little louse. And so there's this poem from the cowboy days. You can find it online. It's called Ode to a Louse. And it's a clever, interesting little poem about this guy who goes to church. And maybe it was written by a woman, about this woman who goes to church. And she's sitting right behind a woman who's all decked out prim and proper, wants to look proper for church. And she's got this big hat on with decorations on it, And there's one little headlights on her hat, which makes the person behind her realize the reality of the whole damn thing. It was all for show. And this one little louse reveals the truth. Yeah, what do we got? What are you proud of there, lady? You got headlights, don't you know? But you can't tell her. That would be rude and impolite. So you just keep your mouth shut.
That's why they used to wear wigs. They would shave their heads and wear wigs because of the lice problem.
Really? Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, back in whatever it was, 1700s.
Hmm.
At least that's what I was told.
Yeah.
What do you know? What do you know for sure of history?
Isn't that a fun thought?
Yep,
What the hell do we know about history? But we know about the future, and the future is God
guaranteed.
for your money back. And Deborah says, Tim thinks we want him here. He does get more attention here than he probably gets from his family. It's nice to be loved. Ode to a louse. Let me go find that poem and bring it up. It's Scottish. Oh my God! If it's Scottish, it's going to be hard to to read. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll take the lead and see if we can make sense of it.
Yeah, because I couldn't do that.
Okay, let's see. Let me grab the title as well. To a louse on seeing one on a lady's bonnet at church. Isn't that funny? Ha! Where ye going, ye crawling furly? How am I doing so far?
Excellent.
Ha! Where ya going, ye crawling furly? Your imprudence protects your sarely. I cannot say, but ye strut rarely, or gaze and lace. You get it so far?
Yep.
The little louse is strutting over the gaze and the gauze and the lace. Ha! Where are you going, you crawling furly? Your imprudence protects you sarely. I cannot say, but ye strunt rarely, or gauze and lace. Though faith, I fear ye dine but sparely on sick a place. That would be on such a place. In other words, you're not here. You're here for what you can eat. Ye ugly, creeping, blasted wonder. Ye ugly, creeping, blasted wonder. Wanna? Detested, shunned by sant and sinner. How dare ye set your fit upon her? Say, fine a lady. Go somewhere else and seek your dinner on some poor body. Swith in some beggar's half-it squaddle. There ye may creep and sprawl and spraddle, whither kindred jumping cattle in shoals and nations, where horn nor bane their door unsettle. your thick plantations. Now hold you there. You're out of sight, below the fatral snug and tight. Nah, faith, not yet. You'll know be right. Till you've got it, till you got on it. A vera Tompus towering height on Mrs. Bonnet. My smooth, right bold ye set your nose out, as plump and gray as on it goes that. Oh, for some rank mercurial rosette, or fell red, smelled 'em, smelt 'em. I give you sick a hearty dose of twad dressing your doldrum. You know what he's thinking there, right? I wish I had some mercurochrome or mercurial to pour on you so you die, right?
I'll take your word for it.
I would not be surprised to spy you on Odd's wife, playing toy, or Alblin's some bit dirty boy on Wildcoat. But Mrs. Fine Londardi Fay, how dare ye do it? Oh, Jenny, Donna, toss your head and set your beauties abread. You little kin, what cursed speed the blastes making. I winks and fingers in, I dread our notice taken. A wad some power, the gifty Gaius, to see ourselves as others say us. Oh, that's cool. Do you get that?
No.
Oh, let me translate it into English, modern English, as best I can. Right here. Oh, would some power gift a gift to us to see ourselves as others see us. Isn't that a beautiful line? To see ourselves as others see us, it would frayed many a blunder free us, a foolish notion, what airs in dress and gait weighed us, and even devotion. God, what a beautiful little poem. I don't think I've read this poem in 50 years. I think they made us read it and memorize it in 5th grade. Like I understood it then, right?
Yeah, that would be cruel.
I know. All right, let me go through it again. And this time, Englishize it, if I can. Ah, where you going, you crawling furly? I don't know what a furly is. Hey, where you going, you crawling furly? Your imprudence protects you sadly. I can say, but ye strut rarely. In other words, I don't see you very much. You strut rarely. Over gauze and lace, you strunt over gauze and lace. Though faith, I fear ye dine but sparely on such a place. You're not here for the faith, you're here for dinner. Ye ugly you ugly creeping blasted wonder, detested, shunned by saint and sinner, how dare you set a foot upon her, such a fine lady? Go someplace else and seek your dinner on some poor body. Swift like hurry, swift in some beggar's effort squaddle. There ye may creep and sprawl and spraddle. Whither hundred jumping cattle in shoals and nations, where horn and bane never do unsettle your thick plantations. Now, Halt you there. Now halt you there. You're out of sight. Below the fraddle, snug and tight. Nah, faith, not yet. No, you're not a believer yet. You're not a Christian yet. Nah, faith ye yet. You'll be no right till you've got it on, till you've got on it. The vera topmost trowen height. Oh, Mrs. Bonnet. My smooth, right, bold, ye set your nose out. Oh, my smooth, right, bold, you set your nose out. In other words, you come back to the top of the hat so I can see you. You disappeared there for a minute. Can you hear the action in this poem? Right, bold, you set your nose out, as plump and gray as on a gozette, whatever that is. Oh, for some rank mercurial rosette, because they used mercury to kill bacteria back then, right?
Yep.
Or fell red smetum. That would be like iodine. I'd get you a sick-hearty dose of it. Wad dress your druckum. I would not be surprised to spy you on an ald's wife lamp playing toy, or I bleens some bit diddy boy on Wellscote, but Mrs. Fine Laundardy Frey, how dare ye do it? God, this is so fun. Oh, Jenny, don't toss your head. I guess the lady's name was Jenny. Don't toss your head. Oh, Jenny, don't toss your head and set your beauties abread. Ye little ken what cursed speed the blasties making. They winks and finger ends I dread are notice taken. A wad. Oh, would some power the gifty give us to see ourselves as others see us. It would flay Monte a blunder free us, and foolish notion what airs in dress and gait would lead us, and even devotion. God, I wonder what year this was written. Let's see if I can figure. Oh, it's right by Robert Burns. I have loved Robert Burns. Written in the 1700s.
Is that Frank Burns' brother from
You're
MASH?
funny. From MASH. Robert Burns wrote the famous poem about the Pied Piper.
Ah,
Have you ever read that poem?
I have not.
You ever heard about it?
Oh, yeah.
Man, what a funny poem this is.
Yeah, it's like trying to understand Macbeth.
Let's read the Pied Pipers. It takes about 15 minutes to read this. Let me set up the screen properly. Do you know the point of the Pied Piper?
Um, all I know is he plays a musical instrument to lead mice away.
Right. But he did it for a certain sum of money.
Okay.
And the town did not pay him. So he led the children away. He just took their children instead of, because they wouldn't pay him.
Ah.
Okay. Oh, I got it wrong. Robert Browning, not Robert Burns. Okay. Let me check and make sure it's visible. Do I need to bump it up in size?
That's pretty good.
Okay, there we go. Hamlin's town in Brunswick, by a famous Hanover city. The river Weisser, deep and wide, washes its walls on the southern side, a pleasanter spot you never spied. But when begins my ditty? Almost 500 years ago, to see the town folks suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats! They fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and eat the cheeses out of the vats and lick the soup from the cook's own ladles. Split open the kegs of salted sprats and made nest inside of men's Sunday hats, even spoiled the women's chats, drowning their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last, the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. 'Tis clear, they cried, our mayor's a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with airmen for dolts that we can't or won't determine. What's like to rid us of this vermin? Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we're lacking. Oh, sure as fate, we'll send you packing. They're saying this to the mayor. Or sure as fate, we'll send you packing. At this, the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sate in council. At length, the mayor broke the silence. For a guilder, I'd mine Emin gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one's rack. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I've scratched it so and all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little, though wondrous fat. He was a fat mayor. Only the scraps of shoes on the mat, anything like the sound of a rat, makes my heart go pit-a-pat. Come in, cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His queer long coat from heel to head, was half of yellow and half of red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair, yet swarthy skin, no tuft on cheek, nor beard on chin, but lips where smiles went out and in. There was no guessing his kith and kin, and nobody could admire the tall man with his quaint attire. Quoth one, it says my great grandshire starting up of the trumps of doom's tomb. He had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced to the council's table. And please, your honors, he said, I am able, by means of a secret charm, to draw all creatures living beneath the sun, that creep or swim or fly or run after me as you never saw. and I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm. The mole and the toad, the newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper. And here they notice round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe to match his coat of the self-same check, and at the scarf's end hung a pipe. His fingers, they noticed, were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old fangled. Yet, said he, poor piper as I am, in Tartary I free the cham. Last June, from his huge swarms of gnats, I erased in Asia the Nazam of a monster's brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, I can rid your town of rats, if you will give me 1,000 guilders. One? 50,000, exclaim, was the exclamation of the astonished mayor and corporation. Do you get that part? He only wanted 1,000, and they said, we'll give you 50,000.
That's a good deal.
Into the streets the piper strept, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Then, like a musical adept, to blow his pipe his lips he wrinkled, and green and purple his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew into a grumbling, and the grumbling grew into a mighty rumbling. And out of the houses the rats came tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plodders and gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weiser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who was stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Ratland home his commentary, which was, at the first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as of a scraping tripe, and putting apples and wondrous ripe into a cider's press gripe, and moving away pickled boards, and leaving a jar of conservative cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flask, and breaking the hoops of butter cask. It seemed as if a voice sweeter than by harp or by psaltery is breathed, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world is grown into one vast desultory." So much on, crunch on, take on your luncheon. Breakfast and supper, dinner and luncheon, and just as one bulky sugar puncheon, ready stave like great sun shone, glorious scarce an inch before me, and just as methought it said, "Come bore me," I found the Weiser rolling o'er me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ringing bells till they rocked the steeple. "Go," cried the mayor, "get long poles, poke out the nests and block up the holes, consult with the carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats." And suddenly up to the face of the piper perked in the marketplace, with a "First, if you please, my 1,000 guilders." 1,000 guilders? The mayor looked blue, and so did the corporation too. For council dinners made rare havoc with Claret and Moselle, Van Dave Grave, Hock, and half the money would replenish their seller's biggest butt with Rendlish to pay this sum to a wandering fellow with a gypsy coat of red and yellow? Bequoth the mayor with a knowing wink. Our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not the folks to shrink from the duty of giving you something for drink and a manner of money to put in your poke. But as for guilders of what we spoke, of them, as you very well know, it was in joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders? Come, take 50. The piper's face fell, and he cried, No trifling. I can't wait beside. I promise to visit by dinner time Baghdad and accept the prime of the head cook's pottage. He's all rich in for having left the Kauffer's kitchen of nest of scorpions, no survivors. With him I provided no bargain driver. With you, don't think I'll bait to stiver. And folks who put me in a passion may find my pipe after another fashion. How? Cried the mayor. Do you think I'll brook being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a lazy Ralbid, with idle pipe and vesture halberd? You threaten us, fellow? Do your worst. Blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more, he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe of smooth, straight cane, and ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet, soft notes as a musician's cunning ne'er gave their raptured air, there was a rustling that seemed to be a bustling of merry crowds jostling and pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering. And like folks in a farmyard, when barley is scattered, out came the children running, and all little boys and girls with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth and pearls, tripping and skipping, and ran merrily after the wonderful music with shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb. The council stood as if they were changed into blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry. To the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with the eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back. But how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosom beat as the piper turned from the high street to where the Weser rolls its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Koppelberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never can cross that mighty top. He's forced to let his piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reach the mountain's side, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollow, and the piper advanced, and the children followed. And when all were in to the very last, the door in the mountain side shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame and could not dance the whole of the way. In an after years, if you would blame his sadness, he was used to say, It's dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper has promised to me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land joining the town, and just at hand where waters gushed and fruit trees grow, and flowers put forth a fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrows were brighter than peacocks there, and there dogs outran the fallow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. And I just felt assured my lame foot would speedily be cured. The music stopped, and I stood still and found myself outside the hill, left alone against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas for Hamlin, there came to be many a burgher's pate, a text which says that heaven's gates op to the rich, as at easy rate. As a needle eye takes a camel in, the mayor sent east and west and north and south to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas a lost endeavor, and a piper and a dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and the year these words did not well appear. And so long after what happened here on the 22nd of July, 1376, and the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper's Street, where anyone playing on pipe or tabor was sure for the future to lose his labor, nor suffer they horselay or tavern to shock with mirth a street so solemn. But opposite the place of the cavern they wrote the story on a column, and on the great church window pane, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away. And there it stands to this very day. And I must not omit and say that in Transylvania there's a tribe of alien people who ascribe the outlandish ways and dress on which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into what they were trepanned long time ago in a mighty band out of Hamlin in Brunswick land, and how or why they don't understand. So, Wiley, let me and me whispers, let you and me be wipers of scores out with all men, especially pipers, and whether they pipe us from rats or mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Where else can you hear the Pied Piper of Hamlet? An Ode to a Louse by Robert Burns. God bless Robert Browning and God bless Robert Burns. Did you hear when we talking to Wildheart this morning?
Yep.
When I kicked him out, he left. He was still in the back room, right? And so he had access to the private chat box. So he said, Ace, this is just an echo chamber. No kidding. You want to hear insane stuff, go over to the Christian channel. They love all kinds of opinions over there. But when we say 2 + 2 is 4, geez, we're going to say it again because it's true. That's what Rasmus said. Yeah, we're an echo chamber. We're going to stick to 2 + 2 is 4.
Yep. Why change it?
Well, Ace, What if it was 5? What if 2 plus yeah, I'm just hypothetically, what if 2 plus 2 was also 5? Yeah, just hypothetically. Okay, hypothetically, Rick. Hypothetically. What if Jill was here right now? What would you say?
It'd be better to say, what wouldn't he say?
What would you say?
Yeah, it depends on the topic. Yeah, we could always bring him to 1 Corinthians 15, 27, 28 again. That was
Oh,
fun.
won't that be fun? And wouldn't he complain that we'd have to look at it again?
Oh, it'd probably be totally different, his answers.
That's right, because he's always making it up on the fly.
Yep. He'd never remember what he said last time.
Mm-hmm. What'd you like about that Pied Piper of Hamelin story?
I liked it all. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard it, really. I mean,
Mhm.
I've heard of it and about it, but never read it. So it was quite interesting.
Feel free to hit that StreamYard link, boys and girls, and come in and keep me and Rick company. Because in the beginning was the conversation, and the conversation was toward God, and God was the conversation. In the beginning was Tim. The end. That's funny, Patrick. Well, Patrick, come in because the coast is clear. And you do better when there's no one to argue with. Do you grow anything, Rick?
Nope, I haven't grown anything in decades.
Just today, I discovered 3 tobacco plants that are volunteers. They're tucked up under a big old fish tank
Oh, yeah?
that kept them warm through the winter. I was so impressed. So they're about this tall, see, at the moment. So I learned from Elliot Coleman that every layer of warmth, like a greenhouse or a cover over top of the plants, every layer of warmth is like moving 500 miles south.
Yeah, I think I remember watching that video that day. And my father used to be a big grower. All the kids used to have to take buckets down to the creek and fill them up.
What would he grow?
Everything.
Potatoes. Pumpkins.
I don't remember potatoes. I remember definitely tomatoes, cucumbers, corn. Well, he did it on a quarter acre, so it was a lot of stuff. He was definitely the outdoors type.
All right, check this out, boys and girls. Let me clear the deck here and bring in this video. This is the title of it is 6,000 pounds of food on 1/10 of an acre.
Ooh.
Yeah, isn't that exciting? Okay, here we go.
Growing your own usually means moving to the country, plowing the fields, cultivating the crops, harvesting the bounty for your table. But these days, more people are turning to their own backyards to create urban farms. One Southern California family is at the forefront of that movement. Drivers whizzing past on the 210 freeway through Pasadena have no idea that a stone's throw away from the fast lane is a lush but tiny Eden, a 4,000 square foot farm. It not only feeds a family, but revolutionizes the idea of what can be done in a very unlikely place, the middle of a city.
This is city living, but I brought the country to the city. Rather than have to go out to the country, I just imported it.
63-year-old Jules Gervais started this backyard farm 10 years ago. It's a deliberate throwback to the storied days of self-reliant rural America. Jules and his children grow almost all the food they need, and everyone pitches in.
5 pounds of grapefruit.
His daughters, a niece.
We have another guy coming to pick up.
And Jordan.
Yeah, are you done? Okay.
And his son, Justin. Their produce is organic, and their animals are, well, friendlier than average.
Say hi. Say hi. We have eight chickens, 4 ducks, and 2 goats. I joke with people. I said, I think my animals fit better in a city backyard than a lot of dogs in the neighborhood.
The ducks and chickens lay thousands of eggs a year and keep the bugs in check.
And they really made the dynamics of the urban homestead much more sustainable.
Sustainable and dense. On their 4,000 square feet, they raise 400 varieties of vegetables, fruits, and edible flowers. 6,000 pounds a year, enough to feed themselves with plenty left over. And with the current passion at high-end restaurants for local pesticide-free produce, chefs are literally beating a path to their door.
Hi,
Hello, good. How are you doing?
So we have your order for the day.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I'll get your sorrel here. Stuff is really good. So what are you going to do with the sorrel?
I'm going to use it to make a really nice relish with cucumber for a salmon dish.
The family makes about $20,000 a year from their front porch sales. They use it to buy the crops they can't grow, like wheat, rice, and oats.
I would say at the beginning, I didn't really believe I could do it. I had some doubts because I kept thinking, this place is too small. There's no way that we're going to be able to feed ourselves. Plus, I never thought we could even grow the vegetables for the market.
So how did this experiment in independent living begin? It all began 10 years ago when Jules bought some taco shells for dinner. He learned too late that the shells were being recalled because they had been made by mistake with genetically modified corn.
When I thought about putting this food in my children's mouth, and they were depending on me to give them good stuff. I mean, they'll take whatever their parent, any child would take what a parent hands them. They'll say it comes from my mom or dad, and I couldn't afford to be in that position of giving them bad stuff.
Now, a decade later, this radical foodie has succeeded in going off the grid. He calls his lifestyle the path to freedom. And what did family think of that whole approach?
They thought it was strange. They thought it was. My daughter wouldn't come out of the front yard and visit with her friends because they said, "What's up with your dad?" They wanted to know what was going on because I was making some radical changes here.
The Gervais have no ugly commute. They avoid office politics and will never get fired. But their jobs are way more than 9 to 5.
I need the help, all the help I can get, and it's my family that, like in the old days, the farmer's family made the difference.
Jordan takes care of the animals.
A joke for them, we call them pet organic composting machines.
Justin is in charge of making sure they get the most out of every square foot of soil. And sometimes the results are extraordinary. You actually grew this?
Yeah, it's like a little pumpkin, but it's very long.
Just slightly.
Slightly.
He's also the beekeeper. Oh my gosh, that's the first time I've ever done straight from the honeycomb. Jules prides himself on his gourmet compost.
Yummy, yummy. Only worms could love
Could love this.
a rotten stuff.
Anise is in charge of cooking the vegetarian meals.
All homegrown, strawberries and edible flowers and salad and beets and carrots.
And the canning.
We got grape leaves, pickles, beans, and pickled peppers to all sorts of jams, tomato sauce.
And the menu? That depends on what's in season.
What happens when something's out of season?
We just don't eat it. You're out of luck. It's out of season.
There are no microwave ovens in this kitchen, and no Cuisinarts either.
We have gizmos, but they're just hand powered.
What little electricity they use is generated by these solar panels.
How much is your electricity bill?
Well, it's running about the highest $12 a month.
$12 a month for everything here.
Yeah.
They spend even less on gas. This is their biodiesel brewing station.
So this is just used grease from restaurants.
Yeah, they use it to fry onion rings, french fries, anything you would fry.
And you get it free?
Yeah, free and delivered on our doorstep.
The gasoline station is self-serve. It hasn't always been easy. Justin remembers the year that frost wiped out a crop. Another year, it was a destructive insect. And recently, they've noticed a new challenge, climate change.
We call it the forefront of global weirding because we've been gardening for so long, you can sense things are off. We have this June bug that comes out. It's called June, so it's supposed to come out in June, but it comes out in July and August and September. So something's definitely off.
The other challenge is water. Southern California skies don't deliver enough of it. So Jules keeps the water bill down with this ancient form of irrigation.
That's a clay pot irrigation.
So it's buried under there.
It's buried, usually up to the throat here, and then all you do is fill it up, and the water weeps through the pore skin, through the clay, and you get the water where the plants need it at the root zone. Plants take the water as needed.
So simple.
Just so simple.
It's 5 o'clock, dinner time, the time when it all pays off.
It's going to be inside or outside?
Oh, no. It was supposed to be outside.
The Gervais are the ultimate locavores. Their food traveled a whole 100 feet from the field to the table. They all say they love urban homesteading and can't imagine living a typical consumer-driven life. But there's one thing they would like.
My plans are to have Homesteadville, which is
What's Homesteadville?
a village of all homesteads to start start with my family will be there. They'll have their homesteads. Their extended family will be there, and people that want to live this lifestyle will be in there.
At the end of the day, some not so back to nature activity. Visits to their websites have grown dramatically. They get about 6 million hits a month from others interested in this grow it yourself revolution.
Growing food yourself is a dangerous act because you're in danger of becoming free. We're all in the same boat, on the same planet, and there are people now asking deep questions about the future of the planet. And they're willing to do this. They're willing to take a risk.
It's a risk that has paid off for Jules and is blazing a trail for others.
Well, sir. Yeah, it's quite the operation.
I know, all in his backyard, a tenth of an acre. Dude, $20,000 a year, and he feeds his whole family. And it works for them. And the restaurants knock on his door to pick up their produce.
I knew early on that we needed to settle the food problem because if you can grow food, it's empowering. In fact, I believe growing food is one of the most dangerous occupations on the face of this earth because you're in danger of becoming free. We live on a typical city lot, 66 feet by 132 feet. That's a fifth of an acre. Take away the house, the garage, and the concrete areas, and we're left with only 1/10 of an acre of land to grow food on. Trying to become self-sufficient in a location 1 mile from downtown Pasadena has made us turn this home into an urban homestead.
We are pioneering a journey towards self-sufficiency, one step at a time. There were no models to follow. We just did it and learned by trial and error. We're not just gardening, we're not just making biodiesel, or using solar, or just raising city farm animals. It's a combination of doing everything well, or at least good enough to survive.
We've tried to live lightly for as long as I can remember, and Dad was a real hippie. But the times have changed, and he's gone from being hippie to hip. But for us kids, that's how it's always been.
When people ask me what I do, I like to say I'm a 21st century Laura Ingalls. We're urban homesteaders, and this is our little homestead in the city.
My transformation started during the hippie era. I was part of that movement, and the defining moment for me had to do with the Vietnam War. My generation was graduating from college, and we were being subject to the draft. The war ended the fun times for me, and I had to be serious about things. I found myself thinking, hey, wait a minute, there are different ideas, alternatives to think about. And so I put on the brakes and backtracked and asked, what can I do that I really want to do, that I really need to do? I started asking questions. What are we here for? And what are we put on this earth to do? And asking questions, I guess that's a dangerous thing. Some of my generation found peace in a back to the land movement while I immigrated to New Zealand in 1973, where I started my first homestead in an abandoned gold town. A combination of circumstances brought me back to the States, where I settled on 10 acres of land in Florida. There I worked in lawn maintenance and raised bees, having a small honey business. In the mid-1980s, I changed direction and made my way to Southern California, where I purchased a fixer-upper house in a redevelopment neighborhood. Here I planted a hobby garden in a corner of the backyard, but what I harvested was only a bonus. I never really relied on it for our daily food. I didn't intend to stay very long here, but while I was dreaming of moving back to the country somewhere, reality intervened. In the early 90s, Southern California experienced a drought so severe that water rates were increased for higher usage. This is my front yard, and this is the first area where I decided to take a stand and plant something useful instead of grass. I knew that grass was costing me too much time, too much water, and now too much money. It would never look that good, and I decided to make some changes that were pretty radical. My lawn fell victim to 6 inches of mulch. This drastic step of turning away from the American lawn fetish would prove to be the major factor in turning our ordinary home into an extraordinary urban homestead.
Pretty, huh?
In 2001, when I found out that genetically modified food had entered the food supply, I said, "You did what? To me, to my food, and to my children?" As soon as I knew that they had attacked my children with this foreign element, I got mad and I said I had to stop this once and for all, because we were just fiddling around. This was a seminal moment for me. I said, I'm not going to take this any longer. I knew I couldn't do anything about the air we breathe or the water we drink. But when it came to putting this alien food into my children's mouth, I wasn't going to let that happen. So I told my family, we are going to grow as much food as we can here. My garden, as I saw it, had become my Alamo. This is the original backyard garden 20 years ago. Hey, so I went a little crazy.
And then Dad started taking over every square inch, horizontal, vertical.
And the front yard, the backyard.
And the driveway.
Oh, yes. I wanted acreage. I wanted lots of acres. But we had to make a go of it with what we had. You know, you have to rethink the possible. And I think this is the example of showing what you can do if you start with what you have. You have to do something different and change your world.
Everything is really tight. Our tiny lot has forced us to innovate and come up with new ways to get the most out of this place. We call this the square inch method of gardening, and we mimic how nature grows close together. This saves us water and attracts beneficial insects too. This is the soil we have today. It's alive and much healthier than we had before. What used to be here was dry, adobe-type soil that became hard as a rock, and water would just run off it. It took a long time, about 20 years worth of mulch and compost. We're even moving up in the world. We're about 1.5 feet higher than our next door neighbor.
26 pounds of cucumbers, 81 pounds of salad.
A lot of people started paying attention to what we were doing and how we were growing our own food in the city, because we grew 6,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables each year on 1/10 of an acre of cultivated land. They say the average salad travels some 1,400 miles to get to the table. We chose to go a step backwards. Our salad travels 40 feet to our table, many steps backwards.
In the summer, our garden can produce up to 80% of our vegetarian diet. In the winter, we get about 50 to 60%.
Here's what we do at some of our harvests. It's food security at its best.
We're really reducing our food miles this way. I know there's the 100-mile diet, but this is the 100-foot diet.
Oh.
Eating from the land and with the seasons, it can get repetitive.
There was one time we had this soup for, I think it was 6 meals in a row. I call it the 007 soup because it never died. It kept being served over and over and over again. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the soup.
We're indirectly and directly self-sufficient. We can't grow everything we need from our gardens, so we sell the excess produce, cash crops, to area restaurants and individuals. That income goes toward buying staples such as flour, rice, sugar, and dried beans.
You forgot chocolate. Chocolate's a staple.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Your eggs and your salad.
Oh, wonderful. You know, there's always such raves about the organic mixed greens because we always like to feature the name Dervaes. There's something about produce or eggs that are that fresh that are not like anything that you would experience from where we traditionally get our produce. Myself and my other cooks, we just sort of pass everything around and we're all kind of in awe at how beautiful and just crisp and delicious, all the different things that we're getting. And so it's a real honor to be able to work with such first-class ingredients. It's pretty amazing.
In the past, people have been gardening, growing their own food for a long time. It went out of style when we could get produce from all around the world. But now, facing the future we have today, we have to ask ourselves the question, do we want to get produce from all around the world? Do we want to get produce out of season? You see, we just picked that produce today. It's almost like the chef has his own garden. It doesn't go through any middlemen or any extra handling. When we pick it, it goes a direct route to the chef. I decided to take a stand against the ills of society, tackling all aspects of our life. After food came energy, then transportation, water, and waste, the whole walk.
This is our biodiesel processor. The waste oil comes from one of our clients. We try not to drive very much, so we use less than 25 gallons a month.
Even though we have solar, we still try to live a simple, low-impact lifestyle. A good piece of rope is the only clothes dryer I've ever used. Except for the energy-efficient refrigerator, our kitchen's pretty simple. We like to say it's unplugged. We filled it with newfangled and old-fashioned hand-cranked appliances. Juicer, food processor, beater, grinder, and hand-cranked blender, which give us a good workout. This is Lucy. She's one of our bantam chickens. We have chickens, ducks, and goats.
This one wants to say hi.
We don't have the space of a typical farm, so we have figured out what is best for healthy, organic, and holistic management.
And how to take farm animals and make them city-fied. Because we are vegetarians, we rely on these animals strictly for eggs and milk.
They eat the kitchen and garden waste, and we think they are the cutest composting system ever.
The family pets are an important and contributing part to the urban homestead. Well, most of them are.
We must get rid of negativity because we are all plagued by doubts. When I first started this, I didn't believe I could do it. So you have to take a risk. You have to go out on a limb and believe that you can try to do something that you've never tried before. If we stop being negative and try to do the right thing, we can do something positive. We must say to ourselves that we can do something. That's a start we all have to make. Don't look for others to change. You start by changing yourself. The government can't do it and the corporations won't do it. So what we have to do is take a look at ourselves and point the finger straight back at us and ask the question, what can I do? Because change begins with me.
I think the urban farm sets a wonderful example for the entire community, and I think learning about caring for the earth and the sustainability of the earth begins with very young children. And if they can learn about that at a young age, it is something that stays with them as they grow later into life.
I've known Justin and his sisters and Jules for over 8 years now. When I first came here, the home, it didn't look like this. I always used to look across the street. I would see them all working. I saw the transformation of their home. I see they just do wonderful things in the community. and the yard speaks for itself.
Passion takes on a purpose. When searching ones embrace the light. When skeptics find themselves down on their knees, you'll know it's here. When the lost find a name they're believing in, and they're falling back onto their feet, and the broken start to dream again, and the sound of all fills these streets. You'll know it's here, revolution. Can you feel it? Revolution.
How'd you like that, Rick? It says our society is growing food yourself. In our society, growing food yourself has become the most radical of acts. It is truly the only effective protest, one that can and will overturn the corporate powers that be. By the process of directly working in harmony with nature, we do one thing most essential to change the world.
It used to be a common thing back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
That's why so many people didn't die during the Depression.
Yeah.
Except for the city folks in their soup lines.
Man's will is independent of God, I say. It's independent of God. Really? Want to tackle that question?
Death. Death of the body.
Yeah. Mortality sucks. I was talking to Dennis earlier. Now, he used to be a pastor in a pretty big church in a pretty big denomination. And he said, you know what? All the pastors that he ever knew, none of them ever talked about immortality. You went to church for a while, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you ever hear any preacher talk about immortality?
No, you don't hear about immortality, or unless you're talking about the soul, or resurrection. It's not important. Because once you're dead, then you're alive again, either in heaven or hell.
Yeah, Dennis said they talk about morality, but not immortality. They talk about immorality, but not immortality.
Now, most of the Christian videos I see, I'm looking for them talking about what Christ did on the cross or the resurrection. You never hear it.
Here's an answer. Fleas biting them, causing people to sin. Okay, let's get out of here. See you later.
Alrighty.
Thank you for helping out, Rick.
It was fun. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Leave a thumbs up and leave comments, brothers and sisters. And grace to you.